Ladies and gentlemen, there's a little bit of drama in the zombies community right now. I know, shocker. Zombies community and having drama, those two couldn't possibly both be happening at the same time, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the high round community has been a little vocal about this game, about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And I found a video by one of my friends, Frenzy, who is a notorious high rounder. He's been around the community forever. He's been a very, very like well-known name and respected name in the high round community for a long time. And he made a video talking about why Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is basically a participation trophy, that the high round is absolute trash, and what he proposes to fix this, because I've seen this same sentiment from pretty much every single like hardcore high round player I've seen so far. Maybe there's a few here and there who are having fun with it and not getting too uptight about it. But let's listen to this video. Let's see what he actually proposes to change, and why he thinks the way that he does, because I think it's very interesting.
By letting you guys know that I'm
we'll never know.
I'm in no way attempting to force my opinion onto you guys, as I know that what I'm about to say in this video will more than likely be the minority opinion on this topic. In fact, I was kind of hesitating to make this video.
We're gonna see. Also, LOL, having an opinion in 2020? Nah, you're not allowed to do that, bud.
I'm going to get some kind of backlash, whether it's because people will probably just think that I'm some elitist douchebag, or
yes, true,
because apparently having a different opinion than someone in 2020 is pretty much considered a crime at this point. So now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into
I told you, man, you're not allowed to do that.
What's up, YouTube? It's the Frenzy, and today
hello, the Frenzy.
I'm making a type of video that I haven't made in quite some time, a commentary rant. And today I'm going.
You know, when someone starts off with like this cool, this calm, soothing music in the background, and he says, "I'm going to do a commentary rant," there's about to be blood, dude.
Talking about self-revive. Now, self-revive is very unique because traditionally players from every Treyarch Zombies mode, starting from World at War all the way until Black Ops 4, players were only allowed
I read the title,
limited amount of lives to work with, and if you went down too many times, you would game over. 4 being typically the maximum amount of lives that a player was allowed.
Again, he's talking about solo. This is literally again, everything. I'm gonna joke a lot in this video, just a heads up. I'm not taking all of this too seriously, like, whatsoever. But this is like typical high round player only talking about like solo type thing. I guess it is self-revive, so it technically is only like applicable to solo players. But yeah, what he's gonna talk about in this is that why the self-revive system in this system is not good
on each map.
And I'm interested to see hear his arguments.
Black Ops Cold War,
again, he's talking about
this
solo.
seems to have changed. The player will no longer game over after downing 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, or even 70 times. As long as they farm up enough salvage, they can continue to exchange it for self-revive and essentially obtaining an unlimited stock of self-revives. And I find this to be an issue.
You never really run out.
Leaves the door wide open for players that, under normal circumstances, wouldn't be getting the rounds that they're achieving if they were limited to just 4 lives. So on screen, I'm going to show you guys 2 different types of players. One of them is going to be the game that the person played at the time, and then the other one is going to be the world record holder at the time that
this is an old world record, but
his game. And you can see the discrepancy in downs is
so player question mark round 221 1 down, round 412 3 downs. The current world record holder, whenever he recorded this, had 70 downs by round 260, or sorry, around 460. I mean, that I can kind of see what he's saying here, because that's a huge discrepancy. Like, this player is obviously playing much better, much safer, I would say. Not necessarily, maybe just a better player, or is doing a safer strat. And that's kind of going to be one of my counterpoints here. Having unlimited self-revives actually allows you to play a more aggressive strategy that you wouldn't normally play and keep the game moving and not fall into the same old boring training around, turning around, shooting a couple bullets, and then running around some more type gameplay, which is fine to do, and for certain guns that's still what you want to do. But if you're going for high rounds, you're getting the ray gun and you're doing this strategy. So this is an interesting,
clearly obvious that one type of player is taking advantage of the current system in this game that shouldn't even exist, in my opinion. Meanwhile, the other player is still surviving and keeping that core fundamental of zombies intact, where you are, of course, needing to survive. Now, I know that this is going to make me look bad, and I'm not trying to bring this up as a way to trash on other players or boost myself.
Typical high round player,
dude. Everyone, and just give you guys a little bit of a better understanding of the situation at hand. So, what does this all mean? Why am I bringing this up? Well, going back to what I was mentioning earlier, is that in previous Treyarch zombie titles, players were limited by the amount of times that they were allowed to down. Players were meant to survive, but in this game, it seems that it's just about whoever can get luckier with not crashing, and almost anyone can get any round due to the nature of allowing near unlimited self-revives.
So here's another little counterpoint here. Treyarch has said that in the past, only 50% of players, I forget the exact numbers, but it was something like 50% of players never made it past round 5 in zombies. When you talk about zombies, when you talk about good zombie players, there's a certain tier where you're good enough that it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, once you get to a certain tier, there's obviously people who can go beyond that, like literally go Super Saiyan 3 and can do like Verruct first room challenges. If you ever watch Verruct first room challenge gameplay, those guys are out of their mind, like good at the game, unbelievably cracked. Like they're literally different types of players. But when you come to like talking about high rounds in any of the recent games, it's once you hit a certain skill tier, and I'd say that's probably the top like 5% of players, everybody's going to be able to do it. It's just who wants to invest the time. So I think this point is kind of dumb, because all that's doing is changing 5% of players down to maybe like 15% of players. So 15% of players all want to compete to see who can go the longest, who has the most endurance factor, and who can get the luckiest with crashes. That's kind of that persistence. I think that's better for the game than limiting it to the top 5 or even 1% of players being able to go to the high rounds. Now it's a higher barrier that not as many people are going to get stopped by whenever you have this unlimited self-revive system. So
all 3 of my games,
that would be my counterpoint.
I would have kept going if this was any other title, but I can't say the same about the others. It just seems that Treyarch wants to make high rounds in this game a participation trophy, and even if they didn't play well enough to earn the round that they got to, the fact that you played so long to get there was just enough to make it an achievement, which to me is just kind of silly. And again, I just feel like I need to make another disclaimer this far into the video. If you guys made it this far, thanks for listening to what I'm saying.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to clarify that by no means am I trying to shame anyone or talk myself up. I'm just simply trying to...
Again, this is just typical high rounder talk, just talking about how he's so much better than everyone else. It's actually unbelievable.
Advocate for the game to maintain a shred of integrity and go back to having a limit on the amount of times the players will allowed to revive during the game. I believe that players should be punished for poor play and poor decision making. I understand that this isn't a competitive game and never will be. However, my biggest fear is that if the errors get fixed for high rounds, we'll end up seeing players that are reaching new heights in bad ways. What I mean by that is players who are obtaining these rounds in the thousands with hundreds of downs tagged along. Okay, so I really wanted to mention that
okay, so say they do fix the crashes, the game never crashes, you can have it paused for an infinite amount of time, right? I personally don't think that that's a problem. I think high rounds has always been a test of endurance, not a test of skill. Basically, what this game has done is taken the, like, if you make one mistake, your run's over out of it. And while I can see his point, I can definitely see his point. While that's definitely appealing to some people, I think if the game is fun for more people and more people are reaching round 100 than ever before, I think that's a good thing. I think the fact that you have these people going for brand new world records and stuff who never really have been considered good zombie players, I think that's an achievement in and of itself. I think that's huge for the game. I think it's literally the perfect way for zombies to reach that next level. And I am more, even though I'm a good player, I'm more like gonna advocate for the casual side of the game, and that if you're shooting zombies and the zombies are dying, you're having fun. And that's the long and short of it. I saw people who have never seen play zombies before, going for round 100. And I think that is super, super healthy for the community. And for us to limit it that because of the top 1% of players don't want everyone reaching round 200, because that's like that's the big crowning achievement. I think the crowning achievement in this game is not going to be reaching around 200. I think it's going to be 500, 600, 700. I think if you reach those kind of rounds, that shows that you can play that long without making too many mistakes in a row. Like this game, you can still make mistakes and die. It's just you have to play smart. You have to play right. If you take it down, you still have to clutch up pretty hard to get all of your stuff back and get back into it. And I think it's a little being a little too like elitist on this opinion.
Game. Yeah, I don't remember what the exact round is, but it was that round 300 plus. I ended up taking my third down. And in other games where players are punished for too many downs, I would normally start to feel a sense of urgency. Like, I wouldn't be panicking, but I would definitely have a feeling that tells me that I need to focus, as I would be on my last life and I'm forced to clutch up here if I want to keep the game going. However, in this game, I just have self-revive, so I run down the stairs, I buy another self-revive, grab my perks, and I'm back to exactly where I was before. The only thing that has changed in this scenario
the problem is he makes that sound like it's like boom, bada bing, bada boom. Simple, simple, simple. When at the end of the day, that's not a simple thing to do. That's not something every single player can do. He's kind of, again, and I'll show you the round he's on here. I just realized I wasn't showing that. That's the kind of thing that not every single player can do, and that's where the skill comes in. I can understand that once you hit a certain skill peak, that you can't get any better at the game. It's just an endurance test, but at the end of the day, it's always been an endurance test. You know what I mean?
Lost a lot of points, and then I have one more down next to my name on the scoreboard. That's it. There's no punishment, nothing. The last thing that I wanted to say is that I don't want high rounds on this game to be a borderline impossible thing for newer players or those that aren't that great. And in fact, I want a lot of the players who try for high rounds to be able to achieve round 100. I want them to be able to find some success, but at the same time, I want players to work for some of it. I want the highest rounds on any map to feel exclusive and not something that anyone can obtain by just getting lucky by not disconnecting or crashing. I want players to be punished for going down, just like they used to. Although, again, I still want newer players to be able to achieve a milestone like round 100 and have it be more than in reach for them. I just think
he's agreeing with me, but then he's still saying, I think at the end of the day, if you can propose a better system than what it is now, rather than just limiting it to 3 self-revives in solo, and at the end of the day as well, you still it's not unlimited, it's not free. You do have to grind the salvage. So maybe it's Treyarch decreasing the drop rate of salvage, maybe it's them bumping up the price. I think keeping the unlimited self-revives is good for the game and good for the community. Maybe making it more of a thing you have to grind for, so that if you take like 6 downs in a round, you can't get that 7th revive because you're out of salvage. Something like that could be possible, but I don't know. I agree at points with him, and I understand where he's coming from, but again, I think he's catering too hard to that top 5% of players and not enough to the bottom 95%. If those 95%, I would love to see how many people actually could get to round 100, like what the percentage is. And I bet you it's still like 15% of players could get there. That the rest of the percentage of the people could not get to the round 100.
As you go higher in the
because they're just not good enough.
It should make players feel
people are bad at the game. They've always have been.
Not just an increase in time consumption, because that's basically exactly how it is now, in my opinion. So to end the video, I just wanted to let everyone know that I wasn't attempting to have any spiteful intentions by making this commentary, as it's an opinion that I've held since the game's release. Not something that I developed once I started going for high rounds. You guys would know this if you've watched my live streams. I've been talking about it since day one of playing Call of Duty Cold War Zombies, and it's just something I really want to touch up on, and I really do hope that Treyarch does hard nerf self-revive However, if they don't, then that's cool too, I guess. Not
He's
really,
like,
in my
but
opinion.
if they don't,
Anyways, guys,
that's
thanks
fine
for
too. I'm
sticking
still
around
having
and
fun.
making this far in this video. You know, I know that this probably wasn't the greatest commentary ever made or whatever. But,
Yeah. So at the end of the day, quick, I need a clip for the end of the video. At the end of the day, high round community's pretty trash, honestly. Nobody likes the high round community. No one's ever liked the high round community. YouTubers are better. Streamers are better. And the high round streamers are poo-poo.